After 2 years, well, almost 2 years, I finally have made it back to the United States. I'm finally back in the United States for a 2 week trip to visit my family. And today, we're going to talk about the few things I've noticed that are very different from the last time I was here at home. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English on Autopilot. And today, I thought it'd be interesting to comment a little bit about some of the changes I've noticed in the United States since the last time I was here. The last time I was here was Christmas time, about 2 years ago. Right now, it's the middle of summer. Well, yeah, near the end. It's almost August. And I've only been back for 3 or 4 days now. It's only been a couple of days. And yet, I've already noticed some really big changes. And in fact, I started to notice them before I even got on the plane to come back home. So, it's been a long time. And obviously, there's been a lot of changes within the country, within the United States since the last time I was home, which was 2023 going into 2024. Because I was also here for New Year's and celebrated New Year's right here with my family in Nevada. And this time, it's a little different. So, when I first got to the airport in Madrid, they were making an announcement over the intercom, and as I was getting to my gate, because as an international flight, I got there 3 hours early, 3 hours before the plane took off, because it's always recommended to have extra time before an international flight. I'm really glad I did, not because checking my bag took a long time, or security, or passport control. All of those were really easy, really simple. But as I was getting to my gate and they were making the announcement, they said over the intercom that anyone flying to the United States needed to go through an extra security protocol. This was very surprising because when I flew back to the United States the last time, this was not the case. You went through security just as always, regardless of where you're flying to. But to me, I was very surprised that there was an extra step just for people flying to the United States. No other destination, only to the United States. So I went and they took my boarding pass, what you need to get on the plane, where it says your seat, has all your information, your boarding pass. And they took it from me. They took it from me and they explained that they will give it back after I pass the security clearance. Okay, again, strange. The security guards were very nice. They were very friendly. They asked me to take out all the electronics from my bag, my laptop, anything that was electronics. I had to put my phone on the table, even my headphones, just to listen to music. And they inspected all of my electronic devices. Then they took a cloth and they wiped my hands, the insides of my pockets where I kept my phone, even my belt. They wiped down the belt, my shoes. I had to take off my shoes. They wiped my shoes, everything. Then they analyzed the cloth. I'm assuming to make sure there was nothing illegal or maybe something that has to do with weapons like gunpowder. I'm not exactly sure. They didn't explain it. But everything was fine. They stamped my boarding pass. They stamped it, and it said on top of the boarding pass, the extra security clearance. So I went through it and it was fine. But I was really surprised. I sent a message to my family explaining to them, and it was very surprising. Then I flew from Madrid to Dallas. That was my first flight because to get to Nevada, it normally you need at least 2 flights to get there. So Madrid to Dallas, about 10 hours in the air. And when I got there, that's when I noticed something else that was quite different. Going through the passport control in the United States, there was no one. It was the easiest process because no one was there. And last year, I remember flying back to the United States that it was a super long line and it took me a long time to get through it. This time, there wasn't many people, and I think a lot of it comes from the fact that tourism in the United States right now is way down. A lot less people, especially international travelers, there's a lot less. There's just not as many people coming to the United States right now. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this, but I'm not getting into that. I'm just telling you my observations of what I saw, and it was really surprising. Then I got on my second flight from Dallas to Reno, Nevada, and it was super normal. Everything was completely normal. There was no differences. It was, as always, flying within the United States. It's generally pretty easy. And so we get there, excellent, everything's great. But we go out to dinner, and again, there's just less people out. There's less people at restaurants, there's less people out, and it's quite surprising. And one thing I realized that I noticed rather quickly was I don't feel as safe here as I do in Spain. And I don't know why. It could be the news, it could be the environment right now that there's a little more tension and things like that. But I started to notice it. And tragically, yesterday there was a shooting, mass shooting, right in Reno. I'm in the city right next to it, but right in Reno there was a mass shooting, and of course people died, and it's tragic. And the same day there was another one in New York. So in the same day, there's two horrible events that happen, and it was very shocking because sadly, it's way more normal here than it should be. It's just on the news. And to me, it was something that I had kind of disconnected from. While I keep up with the news in the United States, I keep up with the news around the world. To me, the news and politics is something that naturally interests me. It's something that I studied in university. I studied political science. And so for me, I like to keep up with the news. I like to see what's happening around the world. However, living in Spain, I do now read more news coming out of Spain, of course, where I live, and also Europe. As part of the European Union, it's important to know what's happening within the continent as well. And I have disconnected a little bit from that American news, the day to day news, and things like that. So for me, it was quite shocking. Now, this isn't something that's different, sadly, but it was something that I had forgotten about. So for me, that was one thing that I was, again, very surprised by. Coming back to the United States has been great to see my family. It's been excellent, but there's a lot of things I forgot about. There's a lot of things that I didn't quite remember. However, there's a lot of good things as well. There's a lot of things that it's nice to be home. The familiarity of everything, my memories here and things like that. The food, the restaurants. It's nice to go back and have some of the things that I can't get while I'm abroad. And so for that, I really, really am enjoying those things. It's nice to be able to drive again because sadly in Spain I still don't have a driver's license. I have to redo it. So for me, it's nice to come back and drive. Most importantly is to be with family, of course. But I was surprised because there's two contrasting feelings I have being back. One is the familiarity, feeling that I'm back in my home country, where I'm from, where I was raised, and all those things, and remembering it. And also remembering why I moved abroad and why I think I'm happier in Spain. Because the one thing I realized that I really missed from the United States was my family. And there's not much else about the actual country that I miss. Put in the comments below. For any of you that have moved abroad, that have lived abroad for a time, and when you come back home, how did it feel? Did you feel a little out of place? Did you feel like things had changed? Let me know in the comments, because to me, I was pretty surprised. So I want to know if other people have experienced this as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to keep watching videos about American culture, things like that, as you learn English with comprehensible input. All right, everyone. Have a good day, good week, good weekend, whenever you're watching this video. We'll see each other in the next one. Bye.